I was one of the older students in the class. One day, the professor of this class said, "Hey, I want to talk to you." And I was kind of nervous. I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about my grades or how I didn't belong in the class. He said, "I just want to find out what you're doing here." Somebody believed in me and saw the potential that I had, and that's how everything changed. Things were challenging in the neighborhood that we grew up in. My family was always strong and supportive, and that definitely helped weather the storms that we may have faced. And there were quite often times that we went without lights, gas, and sometimes even water. For me, making it back and forth to school safely, sometimes showing up to school hungry, or just worrying about, that you're going to be teased for getting good grades in class. Through high school, I didn't have a good GPA. It was very, very poor and almost embarrassingly poor. Every day, you're focused on survival. And when you're focused on survival, it's hard to project how your life's going to be much later on. I pictured myself working in a factory, maybe applying for a job with GM or Ford, or going into the military. So those were all options that I felt like were available to me. I did find a job at a parts store, and I would offer my services to people. And that was essentially the beginning of Allamby's Auto Service. I was around 18 at the time. And from there, the business just grew. It was a way for me to uplift myself out of poverty. I started to think about my business and how to make it grow more, how to make it more profitable. I always wanted to go to college, so I decided to go back to school to get a business education. I would have been 34 at the time, with the idea that maybe I was going to join corporate America, or I was just going to grow the business, maybe open a franchise. There were a lot of business classes, obviously, but there were also a lot of other classes that you had to take. Specifically, there was this one biology class. It was during taking this class that I really felt like I rediscovered myself. College had opened up my eyes to just the whole world around me and all the different possibilities that I could pursue. So much to learn, so much that I don't know. I had made up my mind that I was going to be somebody who pursued something in medicine. And I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to pursue at that time. It was just a thought like, wow, this seems like such an incredible field. I graduated summa cum laude and immediately went to the community college and enrolled in pre-medical courses. I started in a general chemistry class, and Dr. Varnes, who was the professor of this class, he said, "Hey, we need to talk." And I was kind of nervous. I wasn't sure exactly what we were going to talk about. If we were going to talk about how I didn't belong in the class is probably what I was feeling. He said, "Carl, what are your intentions?" I didn't know where that conversation was leading. I told him, maybe I'll become a nurse or a physician assistant. I'm not really sure. And he said, "Well, why not become a doctor?" That kind of hit me. I don't know. I guess I'm too old. I don't think I'm cut out for this. I don't know what excuse I gave him, but I'm sure that I thought that it probably wasn't possible for myself. He said, "Carl, you seem to really understand this information intuitively. I don't see why you couldn't be a doctor. You definitely have what it takes." It was an incredible moment that there was this person who believed in me, essentially, who saw that I was capable of doing something that I didn't even know that I was capable of. And that was the start of my medical career. Now, I'm an emergency medicine physician at Cleveland Clinic Hillcrest Hospital. I get to do so many things to help people out. And it's more than just illness and injuries. A lot of times it's also life circumstances that may have brought people to the emergency department. Nothing would have changed if I hadn't stopped putting limits on myself. When I reflect on my childhood, those capabilities were within me, just like I know that they're in so many other people. Their greatest desires are sometimes limited by the circumstances that they may have around them, or limited by the thoughts that they have about themselves.
Dr. Carl Allamby.
I try to tell people, young folks, young students, I try to tell them how much I believe in them, just to make it more real to them, no matter where they come from or what their educational background or economic circumstances may be. You are most limited by the own limits that you place on yourself, that you can do things far greater than what you know.